When I started my first dev job, I wish I did these 5 things to maximize my learning and become a better developer. The first one is asking smart questions. So make sure, because you're new, you're taking advantage of asking your teammates about everything. But the way you ask them questions is really important. Instead of asking, how do you do this? Or how do you fix this? Ask them how they worked out how to fix it, and then get them to show you that. This way you can learn about their debugging process, and then you can apply it to tickets along the line instead of just learning something very isolated. And approaching different members of your team and asking them how they approach the same problem possibly differently will really expand your horizon of thinking. Number 2 is documenting things that you learn. I definitely made this mistake in my first 6 months. I would probably ask the same questions over and over again, but writing down documentation on how you wrote an endpoint or how you solved this problem and what you learned from working in this code base, and then you've got a document that you can go off forever, and then it will kind of cement in your brain, because the first time you've been shown something, you're probably not going to remember, and the amount of things you're learning when you're new, it's too hard to just keep it in your head. This could be things like glossary terms for your specific company, because they can be quite hard to remember. Also, maybe just business things like what code base interacts with what and why, or even like a document full of command line interface commands. Number 3 is understanding the business. It's one thing picking up a ticket and just working on it and completing it, but it's another to be able to understand what the point of the actual ticket is and where it's used, who's going to benefit, what is it fixing. And this will help you paint a bigger picture of the work that you're doing and even give it more meaning. So it will give you in turn more job satisfaction. And also, if you're really understanding what it's used for or what feature it is, you might write it better because you know what it is intended for. 4 is your version control, enabling your commits and your pull requests. If you don't write a good pull request, your team is not going to understand what your code is doing at a glance. And even if you look at it down the line, you're going to struggle to understand what you did. So it's really important to have like a clear description, screenshots of what it does if that's relevant, and kind of like try and have like before and afters. I usually kind of have a table sometimes and show what my code has done and explain how you tested it, and also any other relevant information that's going to help someone who's just randomly looking at it. They should be able to understand what you're doing by just reading a pull request and having not the whole context of, the project or the code base. It just makes working as a team much easier, and it's clearer in your head, which means that you understand it, and it's just good practice. And number 5 is speaking up in your team. This is one I'm still working on, but I think it's important to try, even if you're new, to have some kind of contribution into like team meetings or stand-ups and asking questions about your projects. And I know that sometimes can be hard because you might just not have the knowledge to, but making an effort to try and maybe like suggest new ideas for, solutions you're coming up with. This will help you build your confidence, and since you're speaking up, you'll probably build more trust with your team. When you're unsure of work, you can just ask, and then your manager and your team will really appreciate when you voice that, and rather than you suffering in silence. I know I said 5, but I've just thought of another one, and that is to be constantly learning in your own time about things that are relating to your job, and this will just help you be better at your job as well as having extra knowledge. If you're in your job and you're using, AWS, and you're not really that familiar with it, do your own research and kind of like make your own notes in your spare time, and then this will then have a knock-on effect. You'll be able to contribute more, you'll be able to approach your tasks with a clearer mind because you've reinforced yourself with knowledge. And that pretty much concludes my 5 things that I wish I knew, plus the bonus thing. And I hope this helped you in your new developer jobs, or even if you've been working and these are just things that you haven't implemented yet, it will definitely help you become a better developer, because I'm following this now and I'm still working on it, and it's really helped me kind of, exponentially grow and learn and just be better. I actually have a software development for beginners series, so if you're interested, check that out. But other than that, I'll see you next time.